Thanks a lot, David. Thanks for that introduction and very interesting presentations that we've had thus far. Thanks for the opportunity to present Aureka. This is the first time that we're actually presenting under the new name, image, and the new stock code, AKA. I might ask that we flick forward to the slide number 5 on my presentation. So just keep going through until we see the map. Great. I think this slide really represents the key things that we have from both a company point of view and also from an investor point of view. So if you're to take anything away from today's presentation, I think these are the key points. We're a completely new company that have picked up some old assets that are quite valuable and have been quite valuable. So for a company like ours with a market cap of around 14 mil, I think it is at the moment, there's nothing greenfield in our portfolio. We have an extensive portfolio of advanced exploration projects all across the key zones in Victoria. And the key thing for us is that our projects are proximate to operating mines and mills. And as we head towards the development stages in the years ahead, we will certainly look to work with the people and the owners that operate those mines. The key thing that enabled us to recapitalize earlier this year was the 700,000 ounces of the resource potential that we do have. Back in 2021, the old Navarre team came out with a JORC resource of 302,000 ounces at the Stall Corridor project at a good grade of 2.43 grams per tonne. At the same project, and on top of that, there's an exploration target of around the same size, but it ranges from 280 to 420,000 tonnes at a good grade of 2 to 3 grams per tonne. And we'll certainly be focusing on that exploration target potential as we go forward in 2025 and get on the ground very, very quickly. The other key project is in the Bendigo zone, and that's the Tandara joint venture. That's a joint venture with Catalyst Metals, and adjoining that property is their well-known Four Eagles project here in Victoria, very, very high grade, and they have that in a joint venture with Hancock Prospecting. So they're our two key projects, or I would describe at the moment our two most valuable projects. So that's what I really want to be focusing on as an operation and a management team going forward. The key thing to note here is that we spent the whole of this year cleaning up this company, cleaning up the balance sheet, and bringing in a completely new team. So I'll introduce the directors and the management in a little bit. But the key thing that really you need to know is that nothing went wrong for the old Navarre in Victoria. Something went wrong, completely wrong in Queensland. And that's not part of our company going forward. And we've left behind that asset. We've left behind all the debts. So we're completely debt-free as we embark on our exploration plan right now. And we've done this at an extremely attractive valuation. So the people that I was working with from the start of this year, as we secured these assets and got hold of this listed company, we wanted to recapitalize this at a very modest valuation so that those who buy shares now and those that have backed us in the last few months, we've got a very good chance of succeeding economically and providing a good return for shareholders as we go forward. So I might just step back a couple of slides, if you don't mind. Keep going back. Yeah, okay, as you can see from the top of this slide, and as I described a little bit there, we have completely restructured for success. So instead of having billions of shares on issue, we've only got around 100 million shares on issue. As you can see in Josh's presentation at the start of the day, thanks for that personal support there, Josh, and participating in our capital raise that we completed last month at 10 cents a share. So we raised $6 million then, and that got us back onto the ASX and the resumption of trade, which was really the capstone of the work that we've done this year. And it's great even yesterday to be out on site and lining up the drill rigs and getting everyone organised so that we are commencing trading. If you look at our share register and our share structure, it is quite a bit neater. The key things I think that you need to take away is that we have a very, very strong cornerstone shareholder at around 10%, Dunkeld Pastoral. Dunkeld is backed by an ultra high net worth individual who lives in regional Victoria, and he's a heavy investor in regional Victoria. And he's very excited to be working with us, both in the west of Victoria and also over in the east in Victoria as we work with our project partner there. So it's excellent to have that cornerstone backing and a very long-term shareholder going forward, which is great with Dunkeld Pastoral. Also, you will note that the board and management own around 6.5%, which is terrific. And that's come through putting in cold hard cash, put in about 300K myself. So we're right alongside our shareholders and those that buy our shares, which I think is a key point as we restart this company. And also we've introduced some small institutions, which is fantastic. So SG Hiscock, Technical Investing, Series Capital, and Dixon Trust are all early investors as we get this company going again. Key thing as we look at the number of shares, as I said, we've only got around 100 million shares at the moment. At the start of the year, there was over 1.5 billion. People might observe this week that I think any overhang that we had from the very large number of shareholders has really cleared away in recent days. So we have seen the share price progress up a little bit from when we printed this presentation. It's sitting at around 14 cents. And the market cap around $14 million or $15 million, which is okay. But remember, on the assets that we had, this company traded at well over $100 million back in 2020 and 2021, just on these Victorian exploration assets that we do have. As I did mention, our cash at bank at the moment is around $5.5 million, which is great. So we're well funded as we commence the exploration program that I look forward to taking you through. So next slide, please. A little bit about the team. So these are new faces and new people. We've moved on from the previous team, and I've been working on this for about a year now, and my experience really does come out of being in banking and mining banking for the last 20 odd years, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, and more recently at Partner Securities, where I came across this opportunity. Importantly, as we embarked on the opportunity, I really looked to Victoria and thought, right, what's best in class as we go forward? And at that stage, I really was working with Richard Taylor, and Richard's been a terrific sounding board for me as I've been in that executive role and going forward. But we looked around Victoria and said, really, what's the best thing going on about Victoria and gold and exploration at the moment? And as we know, Southern Cross has been a terrific success story for Victoria and the discoveries that they have had. And I had some recommendations from people connected with Southern Cross and investors in Southern Cross to bring in Angela Lorrigan as our technical director. She's a non-executive director. She's had a lot of experience down there in Tasmania that we just heard about, particularly with the Henty mine and other mines. But for the last 3 years, Angela has been a permanent consultant to Southern Cross. And she's made a terrific contribution in recent months as she's come on board as our non-executive director. So it's great to bring in that expertise and really lean into some of that success that we've seen elsewhere here in Victoria. Continuing that theme, as we've got Kenneth Bush, he is the exploration manager at Southern Cross. He's not a non-executive director of ours. We'll get that corrected actually, but he's a consultant to us on our exploration strategy, and it's Kenneth's exploration plan that we are embarking on over the next 12 to 18 months. Importantly, Kenneth's had a lot of success there at Southern Cross. He's given us a continuous exploration plan to really grow our resources. And who's implementing that? It's Peter de Vries. He's on the ground. He's out there today. And he has had a lot of experience here in Victoria at E79 at other operations. So it's a completely new team as we go forward, which is exciting. So next slide, please. We might skip through this one. Great. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, we're about to kick off our exploration program for the first time in a couple of years here in Victoria. We are quite lucky that we secured all 20-odd tenements that the old company, none of them had expired. And really, we bought them in good standing, and we've really worked hard to secure everything that the old team sort of left when they put the tools down in Victoria. We will have a 12 to 18-month exploration plan kicking off in the coming days. And that's a 7,000-metre program, 7,000 metres of diamond drilling, that is. We've got some air core and other activities also taking place. And importantly, we're focusing on our most valuable and already most advanced assets, which is the Irvine project within that Stawell corridor, 20 kilometres from the Stawell gold mine. That's where we've got the JORC resource and the exploration target, and we will be wanting to graduate that up into the next level. Sometime later, mid to late 2025, hopefully we can revise those numbers around the JORC resource. We'll be doing both some extension drilling and some infill drilling to shore up those JORC numbers. Importantly too, alongside that, we'll be working on our other most valuable project, the Tandara joint venture in Bendigo. That's about to kick off drilling again. The joint venture partners, we all agreed on a program a few weeks ago, which is fantastic. And we're just working to get the drill rigs into place right now. So they would have loved to have started a week or two ago, but we have had a lot of rain, I think, in that region. But everything is about to commence, which is fantastic. Towards the bottom, you can see we've got plenty of other projects, but really the key thing is that we're focusing on our most valuable projects as we get going again. So we might progress to the next slide. This is another project summary, and please do read through it at your own leisure. The key things that I take out of this slide really are the bottom two rows, where our planned expenditure program, the good thing about raising that $6 million that we did in the last couple of months is that all of that money is going into the ground. So none of it has gone to pay off any debts. Any debts that the company had were rolled into shares, and we've cleaned up the register, which is great. But we're really applying that, and we're giving our investors really bang for their buck. The program that we have around the Irvine project is going to cost around $2 million. At Tandara, at the moment, we've got a $1 million project in total. Our share's about half that. And up at St Arnaud, which is a whole gold field that we have there, we'll be investing about $1.3 million through diamond and air core drilling over the coming 12 to 18 months, as I said, and a little bit for Jubilee. Importantly, our program has been sized for around $4 million, and we do have a little bit of spare capital to bring in additional rigs and activity as the drill results speak to us throughout 2025. So please watch that space as we bring exploration results and assays out to the market. And hopefully as we extend and build on that success that the previous team had here in Victoria. And speaking of the previous team, you can actually see that the capitalised exploration on our balance sheet, which is a bit of an indication of what has been spent to advance these projects up to their current state. It's around $33 million. So our market cap's around half that at the moment. I know you can't put a lot on those numbers, and they are historical, but really it's just to indicate that there's nothing greenfield here. These are proper projects. They're proven discoveries, and we're looking to grow and advance on what we've picked up. Across to the next slide, please. This is really the value slide for us, and where this is our key project at the Irvine project just south of Stawell. So remember, it's made up of two lodes, the Resolution lode and the Adventure lode. And initially, over the coming weeks, we'll be targeting at resolution the down dip extension, really drilling into that orange section that you can see here on the graphical representation as we chase those high-grade shoots down lower. And I think we really look forward to commencing that in the coming days. Resolution will be the key focus for us at the moment, and you can see that that represents the bulk of the resource that we do have at the moment. So it's a good sized resource, 3.9 million tonnes at 2.43 grams, and that what gives us our 304,000 ounces, which is great. And the exploration target, as I mentioned before, importantly, it's over the same lodes and the same projects in the same areas. So we'll be drilling that exploration target, bringing that into the JORC resource. And also, as we do some infill targeted drilling at the Resolution project later in 2025, we'll look to also upgrade the categories we've got in the JORC resource so that we can start to plan towards project assessment and project development in the back half of perhaps 2025. Next slide, please. This is a good indication of some of the ground that we have to work with. This is Crown Land, a bit of a Parks Victoria managed area. This is the Sananad Gold Project and the Comstock pit. So that's some ground that we will be drilling sometime later in the first quarter of next year. And a good representation of some of the ground that we do have to work with within our project portfolio. Next slide, please. Within the Stall Corridor, we do have a couple of other discoveries that the previous team made. Our resource and the key project is at Resolution and Adventure. As you can see, just 20 kilometres up the road, there's the privately owned but operating Stall Gold Mine. We participated in a presentation with those guys 2 weeks ago, which was fantastic to get some news out about the Stall Gold Mine and its success and the couple of hundred jobs that it does provide to the Stall community. And really one of the things that investors took away from that presentation is that Stall is looking to really shore up the future of the feed for that gold mine. And as we get back into business, we really are looking to cooperate with the operators in the area. So we look forward to advancing our project, growing the resource, growing the size, trying to increase that grade that we've got, that 2.4 grams. We would like to see that get a lot higher as we go deeper. And that's our task over the coming 12 to 18 months. But as you can appreciate from our tenement area there, as you can see, as it goes south, it goes through the Langi Logan discovery, and all this gold appears on the edges of these basalt domes. And we've got 6 or 7 of those basalt domes there to further explore as we go. And we've already been doing in the field some geophysics to further help us define exactly where those basalt domes are. And have a look for any potential new target areas for new discoveries that we might be able to add on to our portfolio within this Stall Corridor. But what people really do need to appreciate is that it's potentially camp scale there in the size of the tenement package that we have. We do have Morning Bill just there off to the west, which is our version of Staveley Minerals, copper, gold, silver, lead, and that's a project that we will advance in due course. Nothing planned on it at the moment because those systems can be quite complex. We might just skip through to the next slide. Tandara, the key thing about Tandara is that it's only 50 kilometres from the Fosterville gold mine, and that's why Agnico were until recently a 10% shareholder in our company. We continue to have and enjoy a great relationship with Agnico and cooperate with them in general. A good dialogue going between our companies at the moment because as everyone would appreciate, Agnico really do have an interest in anything that is within that hinterland of the Fosterville gold mine and wondering about the long-term future of that operation. As you can see, the Four Eagles project adjoins our Tandara gold project that we've highlighted there. Four Eagles hosts a very high-grade sub-resource, 70,000 tonnes at 26 grams per tonne. And there's a current application in there for an exploration drill drive at the Four Eagles project. And we've seen a couple of approvals here in Victoria this week, and I'm hopeful over the medium term that that Four Eagles project does advance as well, because as you can see, it adjoins onto our ground there at Tandara, and I think we would see a respective benefit also from a ramp up of activity and any sort of medium-term development that we get at the Four Eagles project. We have delivered some high-grade results, even when the company was in suspension earlier in the year. In August, we were able to bring out these results for the Tandara Gold project that we contributed to, even when the company was on the sidelines. And it gave us great encouragement to continue drilling at Tandara, given there's multiple levels of gold that we're seeing. It is quite akin to the mineralization system that we see at Bendigo, and giving us decent results. So as I've mentioned a couple of times, we are drilling both at Irvine and at Tandara in January. And so we look forward to reporting back to investors very soon as to the progress that we're making here, which is fantastic. Just a bit more of appreciation of the whole Tandara system, which is great. It is quite sizable. It's got a lot of potential. Moving through now. Sinanad, as I showed you in that photo before, the Comstock pit, you can see it up there within this map. But what people really need to take away from this is that just prior to going into administration back in 2021 and 2022, the company was able to consolidate this whole gold field. So we've got a lot to work with from not only that Comstock pit that remains in the state that we saw, but as we trace these at least 3 lines of mineralization, we're using all the advanced exploration technology that we can. We'll be doing air core to penetrate through the shallow cover that we see here, as well as popping those diamond drill holes in around the Comstock pit. So there's a lot of work to do here at Sinanad as we go forward, and it does have the potential to deliver quite significant results. You can see there was one back in 2008 of a meter at over 1,000 grams per tonne. So fingers crossed for more results like that, but we look forward to getting back into the field and delivering that. There's a lot to work with. The old team did report some visible gold back in 2021 at Sinanad, and as I've mentioned, there's plenty of old shafts and old workings to go through there. So a lot of potential here in Victoria, and we will be working very hard with all that cash that we've recently banked and the new team on board. And as I mentioned, we're really getting into this drill program. We'll be lucky to get something done before Christmas, but essentially in the first couple of weeks of January, the contractors will be back out on site and commencing that diamond drilling at the Stall Corridor and Tandara. And also the good thing about our projects, our own operated projects in the west there, is that we can ensure that we have at least one drill rig operating all the time, so that at Stall, if we're ever waiting on assay results or whatnot, we can send that drill rig up to Sinanad and it can do the 1,200 meters of diamond drilling that we've got planned there around that Comstock pit. And then we can bring the drill rig back down into the Stall Corridor to continue on after we've made the assessments and appreciated the results that would have come through. So 2025 looks to be very well set up for us, given that we've got the cash in the bank, we've got the team out there on the ground right now setting things up to commence the drilling in the coming days. And we've done a lot of work this year, restructuring, recapitalizing, getting the new team in place, and bringing this new name, ticker, and image to the floor and to investors. So if we tick over to the next slide, just a reminder of our key attributes. You know, we've got that over 700,000 ounces of resource potential. It's pretty good for a market cap that we do currently have. Our projects are advanced. They are proximate to operating mines, which is fantastic. We've got plenty of upside as we go forward, and it's a new team. So if people do have any questions, please let David know. Log into our investor hub so that you can sign up and get updates from us as we go forward. So that's the crux of my presentation, David, and look forward to hearing any questions that we might have.
Thanks, James. A great presentation. Clearly, a lot of work has gone in to recapitalize the company, bring it back to the ASX in a well-funded, strategic, focused way. So first of all, congratulations on that. Really only have time for one question. News flow. What are the key catalysts? You showed the plan there before, but what should investors be really focusing on for 2025?
The key thing that we want to be delivering is continuous drilling, right? So we're going to start up, particularly in the West, with that one drill rig, and keep that operating throughout the whole of 2025. Previously, the team had access here, there, and everywhere, but because we're balancing between our different projects, and because Sanana and particularly Jubilee have a lot of Crown land there, we'll be able to access those projects if and as we want, which means that if there's a pause in drilling around Stall or elsewhere, we'll be able to move that drill rig between the different projects. So I think the key thing for us is to get back on the Lassonde curve and continue to deliver results to the market. And people might appreciate that we had a very high market cap previously, over 100 million, and to get anywhere near that, we really do have to show continuous results, good results, continuous updates. And we will be working also at the corporate level to optimize the portfolio as we go forward. And we're keeping the board lean and mean, but also just we are talking to a couple of people that are interested also in joining us, which is great. So there's plenty of news flow lined up as we go into 2025.
Thanks, James. Great presentation. Clearly a company to watch into 2025. The hard work's been done in 24. Hopefully you reap the rewards in 25. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, David.